Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ellie and today's video is going to be a book haul. So these are all books I picked up over the last 4, potentially even 5 months. There is around 40 books that I'm going to be talking about, which I know is excessive, but I actually have slowed down on book buying, which doesn't sound right when I say how many I've bought, but trust me, that's good for me, and I'm gonna try now not to get any more, at least until my birthday in October, because I have plenty to keep me going. But anyway, I'm going to break up this haul into sections. So I'm going to start off with all of the books that I have picked up from indie bookstores. The first one is The Marionettes by Kate Wismer. I picked this up in a local independent bookstore a couple of weeks ago and it was in the used section, but it honestly looks like it is in great condition. So this is the first book in a series. In this, our female main character is sworn into this league of witches that are there to protect the vampires, and she goes to this academy and there are trials. It says it's full of sabotage and secrets and her survival seems uncertain. I love anything with vampires in and I love an academy romance, so I got high hopes for this one. The next couple of books are ones I picked up when I was in Hay on Wye. If you have seen my weekly reading vlog from when I went there, you would have seen these books, but if you haven't, here's what I picked up in Hay on Wye. I picked up 3 books by Kimberly Lemming and they are That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf, and That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. So I believe these are monster romances and I'm not the biggest fan of monster romances. However, I have a friend who has read these and absolutely loved them, and we went to an indie bookstore a couple of months ago and the lady that worked in there recommended the first one to my friend. So I was like, do you know what, they're £4.75. I'll grab all 3. They're quite short and I just think they're supposed to be a quick fun time. Then I have Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. This is the second book. I'm not sure what the series is called, but the first book is Phantasma. I read it last month. I absolutely loved it. It has quickly become one of my new all-time favourite books. In this one we follow Genevieve, who is the sister of the female main character in the first book. I have not read what this book is about. I'm going to go into it blind, but I'm so excited. And then the final book I got from an indie bookstore was The Wicked in Me by Suzanne Wright. This one just sounded really interesting. So our female main character is part of the first civilization. They are immortal, powerful and secretive, but they're after her for some reason. And she flees to a place called Devil's Cradle, which is the home of monsters, and here she meets Cain, who is the embodiment of jealousy, and he wants her. So I feel like this is going to be an enemies to lovers romantasy, which is my favourite thing. Moving on to the works, I have 6 books from there. The first one is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison with the gorgeous sprayed edges, and I have already read this. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely love it. But this is a romance between Lucy and Aidan. So Lucy is a single mum and her daughter calls in to the radio show that Aidan works on one night, and she ends up being on his show to try and find her a partner, and all of these people call in wanting to date her, but Aidan himself has fallen for her, and it's just super sweet and I loved it so much. I would definitely recommend it. Then we have Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. This is another special edition from the works with sprayed edges. I've read 2 other books by this author and both of them were 5 stars, so I'm really anticipating this one. So we have a married couple who join in a week-long wilderness expedition to help them reconnect. Then we have The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore, again with a really pretty sprayed edges. This is my current read. I'm going to try and finish it today. Honestly, not loving this one that much. Is probably my least favourite in the series so far, but this is a single dad and nanny romance. Our hero has found out that he has a daughter after her mother passes away, and he has come to Dream Harbour and he is currently working in the diner. He's left behind his life in Paris and yeah, he falls for the nanny. It's cute. I'm just not loving it. Another gorgeous sprayed edge, we have Ride With Me by Simone Sultani. This is the second book in, again, I don't know the name of the series, but the first one is Cross the Line. It is an F1 romance and I gave the first book 5 stars, so this is another anticipated 5-star read. This is a marriage in Vegas romance. Our heroine had been left at the altar and a drunken rant she posted on social media went viral, I think, and then she has to go to Vegas for her cousin's bachelorette party, and here she meets F1 driver Thomas and they get married in Vegas. I was super excited to find this in the works, but we have Alive and Wells by Bailey Hannah. In this one we have Cecily, who is a city girl who ends up on a cattle ranch as she has left the city and needs refuge from her abusive soon-to-be ex-husband, and I think she falls in love with her new boss. Love a small town, love a cowboy romance. And then lastly we have Nightshade by Autumn Woods, another sprayed edge, and it's holographic as well. I think this is so cool. This one is an enemies to lovers romance. I believe we have Ophelia, who attends Sorry Song University in the Scottish Highlands. She's there on a scholarship and she wants to investigate the accidental death of her parents near the castle grounds, where she meets the son of the guy that she thinks killed her parents, and she starts to be stalked. Sounds amazing. Moving on to Waterstones, I picked up 2 books in there. The first one being Captain of Fates by Catherine Webber. This is a Twin Crowns novel. I have one of the sprayed edge editions, the other one is pink, and I decided I'm going to look out for it because they look really cool together on your bookshelf. But in this one we follow Captain Marino, who is featured in the Twin Crowns series, and his sister falls ill and he sets sail to find her a cure, but he gets trapped on an island. I met Catherine Webber for a second time when this was released and got this signed, so this is extra special. And then the second book I picked up from Waterstones is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. I have read this, it was my local book club's pick for April, maybe it was May, and I initially bought this because, again, gorgeous sprayed edges, and I really love Under the Dust Jacket. I gave this 4 stars. So this is a young adult romance where we have 2 characters who have lived hundreds of lives, and on their 18th birthday they die, they have to kill each other, and in their current lifeline our female main character, her sister is sick and she is able to help cure her basically, but she has to stay alive past her 18th birthday. So she tries to find the guy to make a deal with him to not kill her until her sister is saved. I thought it was really interesting getting to see all of the different past lives and all of the ways the characters killed each other throughout those lives, and it heavily reminded me of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Then on some books that I picked up in the supermarkets. I can't help but browse at the book aisle when I'm doing my food shop. So in Tesco's, I think these were all from, I found The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. This is a hockey romance. This one follows Charlotte, who lives 2 lives. By day, she's the perfect sorority girl and a biomedical engineering student, and at night she's Charlie, the daredevil, who finds herself on a dating app with 2 anonymous hotties. And I think in this one it's a love triangle, but I think she does end up with both of them. Not 100% sure on that, but by some of the fan art I've seen, I'm pretty sure she does end up with both. Then we have Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the hardback edition and it is absolutely gorgeous. Under the Dust Jacket, and it has made me want to buy the rest of the series in hardback to match because they're so pretty, but like I really don't need to do that. But this is the 4th, and I thought it was the final, but another book in the series was announced, so I don't know whether it fits in between any of the other books. But anyway, this is part of the Powerless trilogy. I've read the first book and I was holding off getting the rest of the books before I could continue the series, and it's definitely something I want to get to within the next couple of weeks. I just want to binge it because I loved the first book so much. Then we have Riding the High by Paisley Hope. This is the Third book, again, cannot remember the name of the series, but this is a cowboy romance. So in this one, the hero is the appointed Laurel Creek's sheriff, and he is determined to prove himself as the best man for the job, and he has a young daughter. And then our heroine is the daughter of a congressman, and life has always been about neat appearances, but inside she wants to break free and embrace adventure. They end up in Vegas. Okay, another married in Vegas romance. So it sounds like this is a marriage of convenience, and I really liked the first book in this series when I read it. So again, just think this is going to be another good one. Another place that really seems to have upped their game when it comes to books is TK Maxx. I found 2 books in there over the last few months. The first one is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I know this is a really popular author, but I've never actually read anything by them. I do really want to try the From Blood and Ash, but it seems to be like really expensive to find a copy of that book, so I thought I would give this a go instead. In this one, the hero moves to West Virginia before her senior year. She has a hot new neighbour, but he is not what he seems, and he marks her. Turns out the guy and his sister have a galaxy of enemies. The only way she's getting out of this alive is by sticking close to him until the alien mojo fades. That's if she doesn't kill him first. I've seen a few people pick this up in hauls, but I've never actually seen anyone give a review on this, so I don't quite know what to expect. I also found The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I read a couple of books by this author, and again, I've just really enjoyed all of them, and this was only $3.99, and it's a US paperback, so it's slightly bigger, and I just love it. But this one, we have a female character who is the producer at a Seattle radio station for nearly a decade, and can't imagine working anywhere else, but there has been a constant clash between her and her newest colleague Dominic, who is fresh off a master's program and convinced he knows everything about the radio. The station needs a new concept, and she proposes a show where 2 exes will give relationship advice live on air, and the boss thinks the 2 of them are the perfect co-hosts, so they work together. I've heard good things about this, so again, just think I'm really gonna like it. I purchased 1 book from Amazon, and that was Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is a young adult romance where the young main character had always had a crush on this boy, and he has moved back to their town, and she enlists the help of her neighbour, who she has a bit of a rivalry with, to get this boy to fall in love with her. I did actually end up DNFing this, and I have now sold this copy on Vinted, so I wanted to film this video so I could postage this up and send it. I was really sad that I didn't enjoy this one because I've heard absolutely nothing but good reviews, and don't get me wrong, like, this wasn't a bad book. I just found it so predictable what was going to happen that I just didn't want to continue reading it, which is such a shame. Then I also got a book in W.H. Smith, and that was King of Envy by Anna Huang. I did originally pre-order this on Amazon, but then W.H. Smith brought out this edition, and it was the same price as the Amazon plain edition, so sent back my Amazon version and got this one. This is the 5th book in the Kings of Sin series. I've read the first 3, and Anna Huang is one of my favourite authors, so I just know this is going to be another 5 stars. So in this, we have Vuk, who is a billionaire who rarely talks and has no interest in relationships, with the exception of her, and her being a supermodel, Ayana, I think that's how you say her name. She has the perfect life, and she's engaged to one of New York's most eligible bachelors, but what no one knows is that the engagement is a business arrangement. He gets his inheritance when they marry, and she gets the money she needs to leave her abusive agency. So, arranged marriage, mafia vibes, obsessed. Onto the biggest pile of books are ones I found in charity shops. So we have The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, hardback edition, and I'm not quite sure if this is my kind of thing, but I've heard a lot of good things about this. I think it's quite emotional, and I've been really wanting to read something by this author. It says this is an enchanting love story masterfully told about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realising that family is yours. I just think this is going to be a kind of a sweet romance, and I feel like this could be one of those books that I'm just going to pick it up when I know that I'm going to need to read this, and I feel I'm going to find something in the pages that I'm going to need to hear, if that makes sense. So I don't know when I'm going to read this, but I have a feeling it's going to be good. Then we have Forgotten Rules by Ellie Greenwood. This is a brothers best friend romance. It's quite chunky. So it says that the hero says that nothing can happen between them and he'll break her heart long before he breaks the bro code, but they have stolen moments in the dark that give her hope, and I think this is going to be so burn. Then we have Hardwired by Meredith Wild. This just sounded really interesting. So we have Erica, who has just graduated college, and she finds herself face to face with a panel of investors who will make or break her new startup website. And then we have a billionaire and rumoured hacker Blake, who's made a fortune in software and is used to getting what he wants. He is captivated by Erica's drive and beauty, and he's wanted to possess her since she stepped into his boardroom. He wants to win her over and breaks down her defences, fighting for her trust, even if it means sacrificing a level of control he's grown accustomed to. But when he discovers a dark secret from her past, he threatens not just her trust, but the life he fought hard to create. Next is Trusting Blake by Estelle Mascami. I've read one book by this author and I really liked it, and this has been on my TBR for such a long time, so I was really excited to find a copy of it in the charity shop. And I did not know that this is the sequel to a book, so I'm not going to read what the back is about, and I'm going to go search up the first book, Becoming Mila, because I obviously need to read that first. This I was super surprised to find in the charity shop, but we have Quarterback Sneak by Candy Steiner. So I have already read this on Kindle, but I was looking at buying some of the other books in this series with this matching cover on Amazon, so I thought I might as well just get this to add to the collection. I think I gave this 4-star when I read it, but this is a football romance and the girl is the coach's daughter, so she is off limits. Then I found No More Secrets by Lucy Score. In this one, the hero Carter has been on a tour of duty and is looking forward to some peace and quiet in his hometown. He has an aggressive group of matchmaking neighbours. When the heroine Summer comes to town, she is very out of place and she asks too many questions and gets under his skin, and I think people are going to try and get them together maybe. But he tries to scare her away from his farm so he can go back to his comfortable existence, but she is stubborn. And yeah, Lucy Score is kind of a bit of a hit or miss author for me. I've really loved some of her books but DNF'd others, so I've been having this series on my wish list for quite some time, so I'm going to give this one a go, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to pressure myself to read the rest of the series because I think there's quite a few in this one, but I'm hoping I'm going to like it. It's not too long, so we'll see. Next we have The Beautiful, and this is a hardback edition. This one is one that I've been wanting to read for so long. This is set in 1872 New Orleans, and we have a 17-year-old Celine. It's her safe haven after she's forced to flee from Paris. She is enraptured by the vibrant city, from its music to its extravagant stories and even its danger. And she soon becomes embroiled in the city's glitzy underworld. But when a body is found in their lair, she is forced to battle her attraction for the group's leader, Sebastian, and suspicions about his guilt along with his own secrets. As more bodies are discovered, New Orleans becomes gripped by the terror of a serial killer on the loose, one who seems to have Celine in his sights. But as she takes matters into her own hands and finds herself caught in the midst of an age-old feud between the darkest creatures of the night, where the price of forbidden love is her life. This just sounds like something that's going to be a 5-star for me. I love anything vampire romance. It's set in New Orleans. It sounds perfect. Then we have Savvy Sheldon, It Feels Good as Hell by Taj McCoy. I read, what was the name of the first book? I can't remember, but it was like a love triangle, and I did really like it, so I thought I would pick up the second one whilst it was in the charity shop. So in this one we have Savvy Sheldon. She spends a lot of time tiptoeing around the cracks in her life, and this one just says a hopeless romantic, a clueless boyfriend, and a very cute contractor. When Savvy's world starts to crash down around her, she knows it's time for some renovations. Starting from the outside, she tackles her kitchen, her relationship with her body, her work-life balance, and her love life. But as any home renovation show junkie could tell you, something always falls apart during the renovations, and maybe she should have started her renovations the other way round, beginning with how she sees herself before building a love that lasts. Sprayed Edge I found in the charity shops. Gorgeous. This is another The Works edition, and this is Bad Publicity by Bianca Gillam. We have Andy, who lands her dream job as a senior book publicist in New York, until on her first day she discovers her biggest author is Jack Carlson, the same Jack who ruined her life at university and she hasn't spoken to within 5 years, but he is still infuriatingly hot and incredibly successful. But this is no ordinary publication, it's a book tour across Europe for a month. So Forced Proximity, Hate to Love, I want to read this before the summer's over. And then we have I Knew You Were Trouble by Emma Ray. The guy in the front has tattoos, which made me want to read it. We have Lexi, who is 30 years old but is an Oscar-winning documentary director. When she's asked to ditch her current project to film a reunion tour of the boy band Rebel Heart, she's disappointed. She didn't work this hard to follow a manufactured group playing to excited fans, but after meeting Aidan, the unofficial head of the band, something new stirs inside her. Tensions rise and Lexi's work blends with pleasure, and she can't let go of her difficult past with her father that abandoned her. She doesn't expect people to stay in her life for long, especially the lead of a boy band. But is this project about to prove all of her expectations wrong? A steamy enemies to lovers romance. Okay, next section we have Fairyloot books. We have 4 books. The first one is Firebird by Juliet Cross. This is a gorgeous edition. In my Fairyloot books, I don't actually tend to kind of read what they're about. I prefer to just go in blind when I'm in the mood for a fantasy romance. I was a little bit disappointed with the underneath of the dust jacket of this one, but the actual dust jacket is gorgeous. A conqueror captivated, a witch prophesies to save them all. Set in a reimagined ancient Rome, Firebird is an epic, scorching, dark fantasy romance from acclaimed author Juliet Cross, and the first book in her series, The Fire That Binds. I personally don't read any kind of retellings. I read like fairy tale retellings, but I don't read like Rome or Greek retellings. So I am going to give this a go because I've heard great things about it, but I probably wouldn't have picked this up if it wasn't a Fairyloot pick. Then we have The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson. I love the gold of this, and under the dust jacket. So we have A Prophecy Reimagined, A Storm Unleashed, A Love That Could Shatter Everything. My friend had this on her TBR and she was really excited when it came in the romantasy pick. I actually hadn't even heard of this book when it arrived, so if my best friend had it on her list, we have very similar reading tastes, so I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. Then we have May's pick, which was Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews. I love the purple on this one. The sprayed edge, again, gorgeous, and the underneath. Together they'll restore a broken kingdom or burn it to the ground. Together they will have to choose to stand against all they know or face a darker destiny. Then there's a quote on the back which says, "You never truly know a heart until you see the darkness inside. I might like to see yours." That's really making me want to read this. And then this month, June's pick, which, oh, I'm so excited. We have Rose and Chains by Julie Soto. I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that's a Hermione fanfic, but it's been rewritten and published. I don't know what the original one was. The only Hermione fanfic that I have read is Manacled, which is also getting released later in this year. Alchemize, I think the new title is, but you can tell like by the artwork in this that it was Hermione. Like, that's Draco. But I'm not the biggest Hermione fan, but I have always loved the character of Draco Malfoy, and I've heard just so many amazing things about this, and I know it's highly anticipated for a lot of people. Right, we're on to the final section here, and these are all books I have kindly been sent to me. So starting off, we have Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. This was sent to me off my Amazon wishlist. I don't know who it's from. The little like slip that comes with it just said it was from the Easter Bunny, so whoever you are, thank you so much. I'm hoping I'm gonna love it. Avon Books kindly sent me this copy of The Second Chance by Charlotte Butterfield. This is an ARC edition, but it was released in May of 2024. Nell hadn't planned to sleep with the man who came to buy her bed, but every moment must be seized when you're expecting to die next week. This is a hilarious and thought-provoking novel for what is it that makes a life well lived. I feel like this is going to be really sad, but I love the cover. Then Joff Books kindly sent me Crown of Hearts by Leanne Gillamy. I'm probably saying that completely wrong. This is the second book in a series. They'd also kindly sent me the first book when that was released. I think I gave that, it was either 3 or 4 stars, but this is a fantasy romance. I won't go into what this is about because I don't want to spoil anything for book 1. Penguin Michael Joseph kindly sent me Teacher of the Year by M.A. Wardle. This is a male-male romance between a teacher and the other main character is a single dad and his daughter is in the teacher's class. I think this is just going to be so cute. And then the final one is an arc, which I'm so excited for this one. Again, don't know how many times I've said that, but that is The Midnight Shift. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce the author's name, but in this one we have a female detective and a vampire hunter who work together after there are reported suicides at hospital. The victims are all alone and elderly people who are forgotten, and nobody else on the force pays heed to the strange bloodless nature of the deceased bodies, so the two are forced to work together in a pursuit of justice. But as the investigation unfurls, it becomes increasingly clear that they too are being hunted. I feel this is vampires. This is out in August of 2025, so I'm going to try and read this next month in July, ready for the release. I'm not going to say it again, but this, I just anticipated 5-star. I think I'm going to love it. Can't wait. So they are all of the books that I picked up over the last 4 to 5 months. Like I said, I'm hopefully not going to buy any more now between now and my birthday in October, except from obviously Fairyloot and things that are pre-ordered on subscriptions. Yes, as always, if you've read any of these, please let me know what you thought of them. Are there any of these I haven't yet read that I should push straight up onto my TBR? But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again next week.